Deep in the heart of the forest, Kevin, a modern-day park ranger, stumbles upon a figure from another time with a chilling plea. A couple is lost within the treacherous expanse, but there's more to their disappearance than meets the eye. Today, we're going to share the top 5 most shocking and previously untold park ranger encounters from the year 1981. Encounters that happened all across national parks in the United States. Let's get started. Number 5 on our countdown is the story of the park ranger who was trapped in a never-ending horror.
I was patrolling the forest at night, my flashlight cutting through the dense darkness like a knife. The air was thick with a sense of unease, as if the very trees were whispering secrets I couldn't quite grasp. My name is Kevin, a park ranger responsible for keeping watch over this vast expanse of wilderness. As I made my rounds, my heart skipped a beat when I spotted a figure in the distance. It was a park ranger, his uniform worn and faded, as if from a bygone era. My instincts told me something was off, but I approached cautiously. "Hey, are you lost?" I called out, my voice echoing through the trees. The old ranger turned toward me, his eyes hollow and devoid of life. "You must help them," he rasped, his voice carrying an otherworldly chill. "Help who?" I asked, my grip on the flashlight tightening. "A couple, trapped deep within the forest. They need you," he replied, his words sending a shiver down my spine. Against my better judgment, I agreed to follow him. We ventured deeper into the forest, the air growing colder with every step. Shadows danced along the edges of my vision, and strange whispers echoed in my ears. But I pressed on, fueled by a mixture of duty and a gnawing curiosity. The old ranger led me down a winding path, the trees looming overhead like silent sentinels. We walked for what felt like hours, the oppressive darkness closing in around us. And then out of nowhere, a ghostly figure materialized before us. Its eyes glowed with an eerie light, and its form seemed to waver in and out of existence. My heart raced as I stumbled back, my breath catching in my throat. The old ranger didn't flinch. He simply raised a hand and the specter dissipated like smoke. "They are testing us," he muttered, his voice a mere whisper. We continued our journey, each step more treacherous than the last. Ghostly apparitions and shifting shadows taunted us at every turn, but I refused to back down. My determination was unshaken, even as the boundary between reality and nightmare blurred. Finally, we reached a small clearing deep within the forest. My heart sank as I saw a sight that chilled me to my core. The lifeless body of the old ranger lying next to that of an old woman. The truth crashed over me like a tidal wave. The old ranger had been dead all along. I stumbled back, my mind racing to make sense of it all. The old ranger's spirit stood before me, a sad smile on his face. "You did well, young one," he murmured. "You have proven your bravery." "But why?" I stammered, my voice trembling. He was gone, leaving me alone in the clearing. As I looked down at the lifeless bodies before me, a chilling realization dawned. I had been led on a harrowing journey by a ghost. But why? What had been the purpose of this nightmarish trial? The forest seemed to hold its breath, the air thick with unanswered questions. I shone my flashlight around the clearing, searching for any clues, any semblance of an explanation. But the darkness only seemed to grow, swallowing everything in its path. As I stood there in the clearing, the weight of the truth pressing down on me, I knew I had to unravel the mystery that had led me here. I examined the lifeless bodies of the old ranger and the woman beside him, searching for any clues that might reveal the grim events that had transpired. Among the belongings scattered on the ground, I found a weathered journal. Its pages were filled with delicate handwriting, chronicling the old ranger's journey from a young and eager park ranger to a man deeply in love with a woman. The journal hinted at their secret meetings, the stolen moments of happiness hidden within the heart of the forest. As I read on, the entries became increasingly cryptic, alluding to a sense of impending doom and the lurking presence of dark forces. There were accounts of strange occurrences, of shadows that seemed to move of their own accord, and whispers that echoed through the night. The old ranger's words became increasingly frantic, a desperate plea for understanding and salvation. It was through these words that I pieced together the tragic tale. The woman had been a witch, her powers drawing the attention of the spirits that inhabited the forest. The old ranger had fallen deeply in love with her, their connection defying the boundaries of the natural world. But their love had incited the jealousy and anger of the spirits, leading to a fateful confrontation. As I closed the journal, a heavy sadness settled over me. The old ranger and the woman had been victims of a love that had dared to challenge the supernatural, and their souls were now trapped in a realm of eternal torment. But the journal held the key, the knowledge of an ancient ritual that could potentially break the curse and release their spirits. I gathered the belongings and made my way back to the clearing, the atmosphere crackling with an unsettling energy. The candles I had found were arranged in a circle, their flickering flames casting eerie shadows on the ground. With the journal in one hand, I began to chant the incantation I had read, the words resonating with a power that seemed to come from beyond. As the incantation reached its crescendo, a palpable tension filled the air. The ground trembled beneath me, and a low hum reverberated through the clearing. Shadows swirled around me, forming a vortex of darkness that seemed to pull at the very fabric of reality. I closed my eyes and continued to chant, my voice steady despite the fear that threatened to consume me. And then, with a blinding flash of light, the spirits of the forest materialized before me. Their forms were twisted and contorted, their eyes blazing with anger and desperation. They hissed and snarled, their spectral voices echoing through the clearing. "Release them!" I shouted, my voice carrying a command that seemed to cut through the chaos. The spirits hesitated, their forms wavering as if caught between two worlds. With a final agonized scream, they dissipated into the darkness, their tormented existence finally coming to an end. The clearing fell silent, the weight of the moment hanging heavy in the air. I turned my attention to the old ranger and the woman, watching as their forms began to fade, their souls finally finding the release they had been denied for so long. It was a bittersweet sight, a mixture of sorrow and relief that washed over me. As the last traces of their presence vanished, I was left standing alone in the clearing, the echoes of their suffering still reverberating in the depths of the forest. The air felt lighter, as if a heavy burden had been lifted, but the sadness remained, a poignant reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded.
Coming in at number 4, we bring you Park Ranger who traveled through time.
I was on my usual routine patrol, wandering through the dense woods of the park, when something caught my eye. A brilliant, blinding light emerged from a massive, ancient tree. It was a sight unlike anything I had ever seen before. Curiosity gnawed at me, and I cautiously approached the tree. As I got closer, the light intensified, almost as if it was drawing me in. Without warning, the light vanished, leaving me blinking in confusion. I scanned my surroundings, feeling a sense of unease settling in my gut. Something was off, terribly off. The trees, the ground, everything seemed different. It was as if I had stepped into another world entirely. I took a few hesitant steps forward, my heart pounding in my chest. The reality of my situation hit me like a ton of bricks when I stumbled upon a dirt path that was lined with crude wooden huts. People in tattered clothing moved about, speaking in hushed tones that I couldn't comprehend. My mind raced as I realized the impossible. I had somehow been transported back in time over 1,000 years into the past. Panic set in as I struggled to process the medieval scene before me. My modern uniform, my radio, my patrol car, all of it was gone. I was trapped in an era I couldn't possibly understand. A surge of fear coursed through my veins, and I desperately tried to make sense of my new reality. As I ventured further, I encountered medieval market stalls filled with unfamiliar goods. The air was thick with the stench of hay and livestock, and the once familiar landscape was now unfamiliar terrain. Every step I took was a reminder of just how far from home I was. The moment I realized I was in a time 1,000 years ago, fear hit me like a ton of bricks. I was lost, stuck in a world I didn't know. Panic took over, my breath came fast, and my heart raced like a wild horse. I found myself near a bunch of knights in shiny armor. Their swords were shining and looked scary in the not-so-bright light. They gave me suspicious looks, and I understood that I was something strange here, like a person they did not know would be here. My heart started beating faster, and I felt like I needed to figure out how to get back. With a lid command, the knights seized me, their iron-clad hands like vices around my arms. I struggled, my panic intensifying as they marched me through the village. The villagers watched with curious and wary eyes, their whispers swirling around me like a haunting melody. The knights led me to a grand fortress at the heart of the village, its towering walls a stark reminder of the power that ruled this world. The gates creaked open, and I was dragged inside, the heavy thud of my heart matching the beat of my footsteps. Within the fortress, I was thrown into a dimly lit cell, the cold stone floor sending shivers up my spine. The air was damp and oppressive, suffocating me as I huddled in a corner. Dread pooled in my stomach as I realized the gravity of my predicament. I was at the mercy of a time I didn't understand, trapped in a cage like some exotic creature. One important day, the cell door opened with a creak, and they pulled me up roughly. A line of knights walked me through the twisty hallways of the big palace, and my heart thumped loudly as we went. The big doors at the end of the hallway opened, showing a room with bright golden light. On a fancy chair sat the queen, looking at me closely. Her voice echoed in the room, saying things I didn't understand, but I knew she was serious. The knights forced me to kneel before the queen, their hands heavy on my shoulders. My heart raced as her eyes bore into mine, and in that moment, I knew that my fate rested in her hands. The air was heavy with tension as I awaited her judgment, my mind a swirling tempest of terror and uncertainty. As if on cue, an advisor stepped forward, a scroll in hand. He unrolled it and began to read, his voice resonating through the chamber. Though the words were unfamiliar, a chill ran down my spine when I noticed the illustrations on the paper. They depicted a man resembling me, facing off against a monstrous creature with dark, menacing eyes. My heart pounded as realization dawned upon me. I was no ordinary stranger in this strange land. I was a part of their history, a figure in their prophecy. The queen's eyes bore into mine, and the room seemed to hold its breath. The advisor's voice continued to drone on, explaining the ancient prophecy. A beast, a creature of darkness that had haunted the queen's kingdom for centuries, was foretold to be vanquished by a man from a distant time. My mind raced, connecting the dots as the pieces fell into place. The queen's face changed from being strict to thoughtful. She talked with her advisors and then looked at me again. I might not have understood what she said, but I saw a bit of hope in her eyes, something surprising. All of a sudden, the guards around me relaxed. They didn't seem as scary anymore. It was like they now saw me differently, not just a stranger, but someone who could help. The queen got up from her fancy chair, and her presence was strong and important. I used signs and a few simple words to show that I came from a different time and place. The queen's expression became softer, like she understood. After talking some more, she gave an order. They took me out of the fancy room and into another one with maps and papers everywhere. An older man with lots of experience came forward. He seemed curious and excited. He started to explain that there had been a scary creature causing trouble for a long time. It was like a shadow monster that scared everyone. This creature had been a problem for many years, and no one could beat it. The prophecy said that a person from a different time would come, a warrior who would fight the creature and make it stop. Turns out, there was more to my story than I ever imagined. The old scholar uncovered a truth that sent shivers down my spine. I was not just a random traveler from the future. I was the descendant of a legendary hunter clan, skilled in battling creatures like the one that haunted the Queen's kingdom. The blood of warriors ran through my veins, and I was their last hope. As the realization settled in, I embraced my heritage, ready to fulfill the legacy that had been passed down through generations. The Queen's advisors and the knights rallied around me, eager to share their knowledge and train me for the fight ahead. Days turned into weeks, and I underwent rigorous training. The knights taught me the art of swordplay and combat, their experience and discipline shaping me into a more capable warrior with each passing day. I practiced tirelessly, the weight of my ancestors' skills guiding my every move. Beyond the physical training, I delved into the lore of the beast. The villagers shared stories of its haunting presence, its malevolent power, and the terror it had inflicted upon the land. The old scholar recounted ancient texts, revealing weaknesses and strategies that had been used by my forebears in battles long past. Under the guidance of the knights and the mentorship of the scholar, I learned about the beast's patterns, its strengths, and its vulnerabilities. I studied the intricacies of its dark magic, preparing myself for the battle that loomed on the horizon. My mind became a weapon, armed with knowledge and determination. As the days turned into nights, I practiced under the moon's watchful gaze, honing my skills until they became second nature. I sparred with the knights, absorbing their expertise and adapting their techniques to my unique strengths. The camaraderie between us grew strong, fueled by a shared purpose, to rid the kingdom of the looming darkness. The Queen's confidence in me never wavered. She held council meetings where strategies were discussed, plans were refined, and everyone's hopes were set on me, the modern-day warrior who had journeyed through time. I felt a weight on my shoulders, a responsibility to uphold the honor of my bloodline and prove myself as the hero they believed me to be. As the day of reckoning drew near, a mix of anticipation and anxiety filled the air. The Queen herself presented me with armor, its metal polished to a gleam, and a sword that felt like an extension of my very being. It was a symbol of their faith, a testament to their belief that I was the one who could face the beast and emerge victorious. The village came together in a grand ceremony, cheering and showing their support. The knights stood by my side, their unwavering loyalty bolstering my resolve. The time had come to face the creature that had tormented the land for centuries, to step into the darkness and prove that the stories of my ancestors were not in vain. With the Queen's blessings and the villagers' prayers ringing in my ears, I set out on a path that would lead me to a showdown with the very embodiment of fear. The training, the stories, the legacy, they all converged as I prepared to confront the beast and fulfill the destiny that had brought me to this ancient world. The challenge was daunting, but I was ready to embrace my role as a hunter, a warrior, and a beacon of hope for the Queen's kingdom. The moon hung high in the night sky as I ventured into the dense, eerie forest where the beast was said to lurk. The air was thick with tension, and the leaves rustled with an unsettling whisper. The light of the torches carried by the knights flickered, casting dancing shadows that seemed to mirror the uncertainty in my heart. As we delved deeper into the darkness, the ominous growl of the creature reverberated through the air, sending a shiver down my spine. The moment had arrived, the ultimate test of my training and my resolve. I gripped the sword, the ancestral blade that had been entrusted to me by the Queen herself, its hilt cool and reassuring in my hand. The forest was alive with an eerie symphony of sounds, the calls of unseen creatures adding to the sense of foreboding. The knights moved like shadows beside me. The tension was palpable as we advanced, each step a deliberate move towards the heart of darkness. And then, I saw it. The beast emerged from the shadows, a creature of nightmares that seemed to materialize from the very fabric of the night. Its eyes glowed with a light, and its form shifted and twisted like a living shadow. The stench of its presence filled the air, a sickening mix of decay and malevolence. The knights engaged the creature, their swords clashing with its dark, smoky limbs. It moved with a terrifying fluidity, striking with blinding speed and elusiveness. I watched their battle, waiting for the right moment to make my move. With a deep breath, I stepped forward, my sword held high. The beast's attention shifted towards me, its eyes locking onto mine. Its growl reverberated through the forest, a primal challenge that seemed to shake the very earth beneath my feet. I moved with the grace and precision I had honed during my training, my every strike calculated and deliberate. The clash of metal against darkness echoed through the night as I engaged the creature, my heart pounding in rhythm with each exchange. Its smoky form seemed to dissipate with every blow, only to reform moments later with renewed vigor. The battle was fierce, each swing of my sword a dance of life and death. The torchlight flickered, casting distorted shadows that seemed to dance along with the duel. Adrenaline surged through my veins, heightening my senses and sharpening my focus. The beast's attacks became more ferocious as our battle raged on, its dark magic testing my resolve. But I was relentless, drawing upon the knowledge of my ancestors, the strength of my bloodline. The ancestral sword glowed with a faint, otherworldly light, its power surging through me as if channeled from the spirits of those who had come before. With a final, determined strike, I drove the sword into the heart of the creature, its form dissolving into smoke and shadows. The forest fell silent, the air heavy with the aftermath of the battle. The torchlight seemed to burn brighter, casting a warm glow that chased away the lingering darkness. I stood there, chest heaving, surrounded by the knights who had fought alongside me. The weight of the moment settled over us, a mix of exhaustion and triumph. The beast that had haunted the Queen's kingdom for generations had been defeated, its menace finally laid to rest. As the first light of dawn broke through the trees, the Queen's voice echoed in my mind, a whisper of gratitude and pride. The villagers, having heard of our victory, began to emerge from their homes, their faces lit with awe and relief. In that moment, I realized that I had fulfilled my destiny, that the stories of my bloodline had not been in vain. The ancestral sword, now streaked with the creature's remnants, had been a beacon of hope and a source of strength. The legacy of my hunter clan had been upheld, and the darkness that had plagued the Queen's kingdom had been vanquished. As the sun rose higher in the sky, its golden rays bathing the forest in warmth and light, I knew that my journey had come full circle. The park ranger from a distant time had become a hero of legend, a warrior who had faced the darkest of nightmares and emerged victorious. The Queen's kingdom was safe. The beast's reign of terror finally ended. And as the people gathered around me, their cheers and gratitude ringing in my ears, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride, a realization that I had truly become the hero they needed, a guardian of the past, a beacon of hope, and a symbol of the enduring strength of the human spirit. Just as the cheers and celebrations filled the air, something strange happened. In the blink of an eye, I felt a sudden jolt, like I was being pulled in all directions at once. The world around me seemed to twist and distort, and before I knew it, I was back where it all began, under the towering branches of the ancient tree. Confusion washed over me as I looked around, taking in the familiar surroundings. I was back in my park ranger uniform, standing exactly where I had been when I first saw the blinding light. It felt surreal, like I had just woken up from a strange dream. But it wasn't a dream. I knew that now. The memories of the fierce battle, the cheers of the villagers, and the weight of the special sword were still fresh in my mind. It had all been real. I couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions, disbelief, awe, and a strange sense of longing for the world I had left behind. I had become a part of history, a hero in an ancient land, and now I was back in my own time, standing beneath a tree that held a secret beyond imagination. As I stood there processing what had just happened, a sense of fulfillment settled over me. I may have returned to my own time, but the impact of my journey remained. I had faced my fears, battled a monstrous creature, and proven my worth as a warrior. With a sigh, I turned away from the tree and began to walk back to my patrol car. The memories of the past were still fresh in my mind, and a new chapter had been added to my life story. I couldn't help but wonder if the villagers from the past would remember the hero who had saved them, or if my tale would fade into legend like the stories of my ancestors. In the days that followed my return, I couldn't shake the feeling of having been part of something truly remarkable. The memories of that ancient world and the battle against the beast were like a vivid dream, a tapestry of emotions that had become woven into the fabric of my being. Yet part of me wondered if anyone else had known of my journey, if the impact of my actions had reached beyond the boundaries of time. Driven by curiosity, I decided to delve deeper into the history of the park. I pored over old records and dusty books, searching for any mention of the events that had transpired 1,000 years ago. And then, I found it. A faded page in a forgotten corner of the archives. A story from a time when beasts roamed the land and darkness threatened to consume everything. The words on the page sent shivers down my spine. It spoke of a time of turmoil, of a kingdom plagued by a fearsome beast that seemed unstoppable. But then, like a beacon of hope, a figure emerged from the depths of the forest, a man who wielded a special sword and faced the darkness head-on. He battled the creature with unmatched courage and determination, bringing an end to its reign of terror and restoring peace to the land. Tears welled up in my eyes as I read those words, a realization dawning upon me. The man in the story, the hero who had stood against the darkness, was none other than me, the park ranger who had been transported back in time. It was a profound moment of clarity, a connection that bridged the gap between past and present, between legend and reality. A bittersweet smile tugged at my lips as I closed the book, my heart full of gratitude and awe. I had become a part of a story that transcended time, a hero whose actions had left an indelible mark on the tapestry of history. The tears that glistened in my eyes were not just tears of remembrance, but tears of pride, a testament to the courage and strength that had carried me through the ages. As I looked out at the park, the familiar trees and paths taking on a new significance, I couldn't help but feel a sense of profound contentment. The echoes of the past whispered in the wind, a reminder that even in the ordinary routines of life, extraordinary adventures awaited those who dared to embrace the unknown. With a final heartfelt glance at the ancient tree that had been the catalyst for my journey, I wiped away the tears and let out a quiet, reverent sigh. The story had come full circle, and I knew that the legacy of the hero from the past would forever live on, a testament to the power of courage, the bonds of time, and the enduring spirit of a park ranger who had stepped beyond the boundaries of reality to become a legend in his own right.
Moving from number 4 to number 3 on our list is the story of a rescue that changed park ranger's life forever.
I'm Sean, the park ranger around these parts. Been patrolling this place for years, and there's a rhythm to it that settles deep in your bones. Every night as the sun gives way to stars, I step into the wild. My family, my anchor, they're with me this time, camped under the open sky. The fire flickers, casting shadows on the trees, and I can see the excitement in their eyes, especially Rosie's, my youngest. We're in a clearing where the trees thin out just enough. I set up camp like clockwork, stakes in the ground and tents pitched steady. Emily, my wife, helps gather wood while the girls, Rosie and Lily, giggle and rustle around. There's a kind of peace in these moments, a break from the world's clamor. The routine feels like home, and I tell them stories about the mysteries this park holds. But then my eyes catch that old sign, worn and faded. Restricted zone, it says, a reminder of what lies beyond. I let my gaze linger there, thinking about the stories folks tell. Disappearances, strange sounds in the night. Legends, they call them. I sigh, because even with all my time here, there's still parts I don't fully know. Places that stir something deep inside. And I hope with all I got, that my family won't have to learn about those parts the hard way. The crackling fire's warmth embraces us as night settles in. We huddle close, my family and I, sharing tales and laughs. Rosie's eyes sparkle with curiosity and her question hangs in the air, tugging at me. "Dad, what's in that restricted zone?" Her voice is full of wonder, innocent and hungry for adventure. I look at Emily and we exchange a knowing glance. She's got that look, the one that tells me she's worried about what I might say. But Rosie deserves honesty, deserves to know why we stay clear of that place. I lean in, the firelight dancing on my face, and tell them about the dangers and the mysteries, the legends that wrap around those trees, whispering secrets of things that don't belong. Emily nods, her eyes fixed on the flames. We share silent worry, hoping our words will be enough to keep Rosie's wild spirit in check. As the night stretches on, the stories fade into the chorus of crickets. Rosie's gaze drifts toward that forbidden place, a magnetic pull tugging at her. I can see it. And though I'm here to protect, a father's grip can only hold so tight against the call of the unknown. Morning paints the sky with streaks of orange and pink. The air feels charged, like something shifted overnight. But then I see it. Rosie's sleeping bag empty. Panic jolts through me like a lightning bolt and my heart races. Lily's eyes are wide, her face pale. She tells me about Rosie's daring escapade into the forbidden zone. I feel a surge of frustration and fear, mixing like a storm inside me. The forest's thick, suffocating almost, as we move deeper into the heart of the park's secrets. We stumble upon a chilling sight, bones and feathers. A knot tightens in my gut. I know what this means. We're on the trail of something dangerous. Emily's right beside me, her determination mirroring my own. We're parents on a mission, pushing aside our own fears to find our daughter. My flashlight cuts through the darkness, revealing twisted vines and hidden pitfalls. The path we follow feels ancient, like we're walking in the footsteps of something primal and hungry. And though I'm a ranger, a protector of this land, right now I'm just a father, chasing after the unknown to bring my girl back home. Days blend together as we track the signs left by those who came before us. We move with purpose, our senses sharp, attuned to the forest's secrets. The cannibals, they're like ghosts, leaving behind only whispers of their presence. Emily and I share knowing glances as we piece together the puzzle they've left behind. Twisted branches, faint trails, they're leading us deeper, further into this tangled maze. My heart beats fast, a drum keeping time with the urgency of our search. Nights bring their own challenges. The darkness becomes our ally and enemy, hiding dangers and secrets alike. We learn to move like shadows, careful not to trigger traps meant to ensnare the unwary. The cannibals, they're cunning, a force that's mastered the dance between predator and prey. We press on, determined, driven by love, and a primal need to protect our own. The forest alive with sounds and shadows, but we're undeterred. We're hunters now, chasing after those who've taken something from us, and we won't rest until we have our daughter back in our arms. We see her, Rosie, wide-eyed and trembling, was tethered to a crude stake at the center of the camp. The air was thick with the acrid scent of burning wood, the flames casting distorted, elongated shadows that stretched like accusing fingers. I could feel my fingers tighten around the rough handle of my weapon, every muscle taut with readiness. The first cannibal emerged from the darkness, his form a sinister silhouette against the moonlit backdrop. His eyes gleamed with a primal hunger, and his mouth twisted into a chilling grin. He moved with an unsettling grace, each step deliberate, calculated. I exchanged a tense glance with Emily, our unspoken understanding a testament to the bond forged through years of love and shared hardships. As the first clash of metal met metal, the camp erupted into chaos. The ringing clash of weapons filled the air, a symphony of danger and desperation. Emily fought like a whirlwind, her movements fluid and deadly. Her weapon arced through the air, meeting the cannibal's blade with a resounding clash. I saw a flash of determination in her eyes, a fierce resolve that mirrored my own. My opponent was a hulking figure, his muscles bulging beneath a twisted mess of scars and tribal markings. Every strike he delivered carried the weight of his determination to protect what was his, and every swing I parried was a reminder of the stakes we were fighting for. The ground beneath us trembled with the force of our clashes, the earth seemingly echoing the violence of our struggle. Vines became entangled in our fight, their wiry embrace adding an unpredictable element to our combat. My breath came in ragged gasps, my heart pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. Sweat mingled with dirt on my brow, stinging my eyes as I dodged and parried, the battle around me a blur of movement and danger. And then, in a moment of sheer desperation, Emily and I synchronized our attacks. We moved as one, exploiting a gap in our opponent's defenses. Emily's weapon found its mark, striking true and sending her foe stumbling back. I seized the opportunity, my own strike finding its mark with a satisfying thud. The cannibal's eyes widened in disbelief, his grasp on his weapon faltering before he crumpled to the ground. The campsite fell into an eerie silence as the last cannibal hit the earth, defeated. Our chests heaved in tandem, the heavy weight of the battle settling over us like a shroud. The moon hung in the sky, a silent witness to the violence that had unfolded beneath its watchful gaze. Rosie's frightened eyes met mine, and I rushed to her side, freeing her from her binds with trembling hands. Breathing hard, we stand amidst the aftermath of the battle. The forest is alive with the sounds of victory, our victory. My arms are around Rosie, her warmth against me a reminder of why we fought so hard. Emily's gaze meets mine, a mix of exhaustion and relief. We did it. Against all odds, we beat them. But the fight's not over yet. The cannibals, their once silent presence now silenced forever, lie strewn across the campsite. Our triumph is painted in blood and dirt, a stark contrast to the moonlit night sky above. I hold Rosie close, our heartbeats slowing in tandem. She's safe, she's here, and that's all that matters. We share a smile, a silent promise to never let go again. The forest watches, its ancient eyes seeing the battles fought and won beneath its canopy. And as dawn approaches, a new day dawning over the horizon, we make our escape. The memories of this night, this battle, they'll forever be etched into our souls. We leave behind the remnants of the cannibals' camp, stepping back into the wilderness, forever changed by the darkness we faced together. We return to our campsite, where laughter once danced around the campfire. Now there's a somber silence, a shared understanding of the darkness that we've faced. We pack up our belongings, fold tents, and gather our gear. The forest's quieter now, as if even nature respects the ordeal we've endured. As we prepare to leave, I cast a final look at that restricted zone, its secrets still veiled in shadows. It's a reminder that even in the beauty of nature, there are depths we may never fully comprehend. But we've emerged from those depths, a family forever bonded by the trials we've conquered. And so, we step back onto the path that leads us out of the wilderness. Our footsteps are lighter, our hearts heavier, but we walk together, stronger than before. The forest's secrets may remain, but we carry our own, the resilience, the love, the unbreakable bond that held us steadfast in the face of the unknown.
Coming in at number 2, we bring you Horror in the Graveyard.
I'm Solomon, just a park ranger with a job to do. The forest near that old town has always been my watch, a duty I take seriously. The air hangs heavy here like it's carrying secrets it doesn't want to share. People used to come to this forest, tourists seeking adventure and a glimpse of nature's wild beauty. But something's changed. The forest has grown quieter, the laughter and chatter replaced by an unsettling hush. I noticed it first when those folks started vanishing, leaving behind nothing but confusion and worry. It's the kind of place where you think you're alone, but you're not. I've seen it. Folks venturing in, eyes bright with excitement, and then they're just gone. No trace, no footprints. It's like the forest swallows them up, like they were never there. The old graveyard, it's right on the edge of the forest, like it's watching, waiting. Every time I pass by, there's this feeling like someone's staring right through me. It's like the graveyard's got a secret, a dark one. I ain't one to believe in curses and ghosts, but I can't ignore the signs. There's a pattern to those vanishings, and it's pointing right at that graveyard. People get too close and poof, they're gone. I've started keeping track, making notes in my worn-out journal. Something's got to give, and it's up to me to figure it out. I'm no detective, just a ranger, but I've got this feeling in my gut, a mix of determination and unease. I don't know what's lurking out there, what's snatching folks away, but I aim to find out. The forest might be vast and silent, but it's not empty. It's hiding a secret, and by the stars above, I'm gonna uncover it. It's my duty, after all, to protect this land and the people who dare to step into its shadows. My days have been filled with old books and dusty records. The historian, old Mr. Jenkins, ain't too thrilled to see me digging around, but I can't let that stop me. He's got stories, tales from the past that he'd rather keep buried. Mr. Jenkins reluctantly opens up a bit. He tells me about the old town, about how it used to be different, vibrant. He spins tales of rituals under the moonlight, of whispers that carried on the wind. His voice quivers as he speaks, like he's scared of awakening something he'd rather forget. I press him about the graveyard and he spills the beans. Turns out that place ain't just a patch of dirt with stones sticking out. It's a place with history, dark history. He tells me about a time when folks believed in things they couldn't see, and the graveyard was at the center of it all. As I walk away from Mr. Jenkins' ramshackle house, his words echo in my head. There's a knot in my stomach, a feeling that the forest's holding more secrets than I thought. I decide to take a stroll to the outskirts of the graveyard just to see for myself. The moon hangs high, casting a pale light on the old tombstones. The air is thick with something, a presence that makes my skin prickle. I'm alone, but I ain't alone. I can feel it. Eyes on me, like the forest itself is watching. I step closer, my heart pounding like a drum. Shadows dance between the trees, and I swear I hear whispers carried on the breeze. It's like the forest's alive, whispering secrets to anyone who's willing to listen. I'm about to turn back, this eerie feeling crawling up my spine, when I catch a glimpse of movement. It's quick, like a flicker, but I know I saw something. My hand instinctively goes to the flashlight on my belt, and I shine it toward the trees. But there's nothing there, just darkness and leaves rustling in the wind. I tell myself it's my imagination playing tricks, but deep down, I know better. There's something out here, something that's been hidden for years. As I make my way back to the safety of the ranger station, I can't shake that feeling. The feeling that I'm on the brink of uncovering a truth that's been buried for too long. The historian might want to keep his secrets, but I've got a duty to this forest and the folks who've disappeared into its depths. Tomorrow I'll keep digging, keep searching for answers. This old graveyard holds the key, and I'm determined to unlock its secrets no matter how unsettling they might be. Morning sun breaks through the trees, but the light can't chase away the chill that's settled in my bones. The graveyard's tales are still fresh in my mind, and I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. My worn journal sits open on the desk, filled with scribbles and thoughts that don't quite make sense yet. I've been digging deeper, scouring through old newspapers and maps. The disappearances aren't a new thing. They've been happening for decades. Families left without answers, left wondering what happened to their loved ones who ventured into this forest. I find myself back at the edge of the graveyard, my heart thudding in my chest. There's a tree there, gnarled and twisted, like it's seen too much. It's said that some rituals were performed under its twisted branches, rituals that beckoned something dark from beyond. As I study the tree, I swear I hear whispers, faint like distant voices carried by the wind. It's probably just the forest playing tricks on me, but a shiver runs down my spine. I force myself to move to keep walking deeper into the forest. The path is overgrown, tangled with vines and secrets. My steps are careful, each crunch of leaves beneath my boots making me jump. I can't shake the feeling that something's just out of sight, lurking in the shadows. And then I see it. A glimpse of movement, a flicker of darkness between the trees. My hand goes for the flashlight again, and I shine it toward the spot. My heart skips a beat when I see nothing there, just the swaying branches and the rustling leaves. I'm not alone. I know it now deep in my gut. There's something here, something that's been watching me, following my every move. The journalist might be onto something with his fascination for this story. Maybe it's time to share what I found, to let others know that there's more to this forest than meets the eye. I make my way back to the ranger station, my mind racing. I grab the phone and dial the journalist's number. He answers on the second ring, his voice eager and intrigued. I tell him what I've uncovered about the disappearances, the old rituals, and the whispers in the shadows. He's silent for a moment, and then he speaks, his words carrying a mix of excitement and trepidation. We agree to meet, to discuss the next steps, to bring this story to light. The forest might be hiding its secrets, but we're determined to uncover them, to shine a light on the darkness that's been lurking for far too long. The journalist's enthusiasm is infectious, but as I walk back to the ranger station, a weight settles in my chest. The graveyard's secrets, the whispers, they're all swirling around me like a storm waiting to break. I've been poring over the old journal I found, the one written by the park ranger who faced this nightmare before. His words are haunting, describing encounters with the same creature, the same darkness that's been lurking in the shadows. The entries are sparse, shaky, like he was writing in a fever dream. He talks about the creature's eyes, cold and otherworldly, filled with a hunger that chills you to the bone. He describes how it preys on fear, using illusions to trap its victims in a nightmarish dance. As I read, a knot forms in my stomach. It's like the past is reaching out, warning me of the dangers ahead. I can't ignore it. The journalist and I were walking into something bigger than us, something that's been lurking in the forest's depths for years. I decide to pay Mr. Jenkins another visit, hoping he'll reveal more about the graveyard's past. He's reluctant, but as I press him, he finally opens up. He tells me about a night decades ago, when the sky burned with an otherworldly light, and the forest came alive with whispers. He talks about figures moving through the trees, shadows dancing in the moonlight. He was just a boy then, but he remembers the fear, the way it gripped the town, the way it's gripped me now. He doesn't know what those figures were, but he knows they were tied to the graveyard, to the creature. I leave his house with more questions than answers. The past is a puzzle, and each piece I uncover paints a darker picture. The journalist meets me later, excitement in his eyes as he shares his findings. Old legends, stories passed down through generations, all pointing to the graveyard's curse. The more we uncover, the clearer it becomes. This creature, this darkness, it's not just a recent threat. It's been here for a long time, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right time to emerge. And now, with the celestial event approaching, that time is drawing near. As the journalist and I exchange glances, a silent understanding passes between us. We're in this together, no turning back now. We're determined to confront this darkness, to unravel the mysteries of the graveyard, and to put an end to the nightmare that's plagued this town for far too long. But as we prepare for what lies ahead, a chilling thought lingers. What if we're not just facing a creature from the past? What if the past and present are intertwined, and the graveyard's secrets are more insidious than we ever imagined? The shadows grow deeper, and the journey ahead seems darker than ever before. The countdown has begun. The celestial event is just days away, and the forest feels different, charged with an electric energy, like the air before a storm. I can't help but feel a mix of anticipation and unease, like I'm standing on the edge of something massive, something that's been building for years. The journalist and I have been working non-stop, gathering supplies, studying maps, and trying to piece together the puzzle of the graveyard's curse. Our research has led us to old folklore, tales of ancient rituals that were said to open a doorway between our world and another. It's as if the forest itself is a living, breathing entity, connected to forces beyond our understanding. We've managed to round up a small group of allies, the historian, who knows the town's history better than anyone. a few brave locals who've experienced the forest's mysteries firsthand, and even a skeptical scientist who's intrigued by the anomalies we've uncovered. As we gather around a table, maps and notes spread out before us, the journalist lays out the plan. We'll venture into the forest, armed with knowledge and determination, and confront the creature at the heart of the old graveyard. We'll use what we've learned, the creature's weakness, its connection to fear, to try and banish it once and for all. The room is filled with a mix of determination and nervous energy. We all know the risks, the dangers that lie ahead. But we also know that we can't let this darkness continue to claim innocent lives. The journalist's words linger in the air. We are the voice of those who have been silenced, the hope of those who've lost loved ones. We're taking a stand against a force that's haunted this town for far too long. As the day of the celestial event approaches, we make our final preparations. The forest is a living, breathing entity, and we're about to step into its heart, into the heart of the unknown. The tension is palpable, but there's a sense of unity among us, a shared purpose that drives us forward. We gather our equipment, our resolve steeling us against the looming darkness. The forest awaits, its secrets and shadows ready to be uncovered. The journalist's camera is poised, capturing this moment. A group of unlikely heroes, bound by a common goal and facing a truth that's more terrifying than any of us could have imagined. As we step into the forest, each footfall carrying us deeper into the unknown, I can't help but feel a sense of destiny. The forest's whispers are growing louder, the air thick with anticipation. The veil between worlds is thinning, and we're about to confront the very heart of the nightmare that's plagued this town. I take a deep breath, my heart pounding in my chest, and exchange a determined look with my companions. We're ready to face whatever horrors await us, to shine a light into the darkness, and to uncover the truth that's been hidden for so long. The forest's secrets are about to be revealed, and the journey ahead promises to test our courage, our resolve, and the very fabric of reality itself. The forest's embrace is suffocating, the air heavy with a sense of foreboding. The celestial event is upon us, and the sky is a canvas of swirling colors, like a portal to another world. As we venture deeper into the forest, each step feels like a step into the unknown. The journalist's flashlight cuts through the darkness, its beam revealing twisted roots and looming trees. The path ahead is shrouded, the shadows dancing like specters. We're a determined group united by purpose, but the tension is palpable. We've been walking for hours, the forest's symphony of sounds providing a haunting backdrop. Every rustle, every distant call, sends a shiver down my spine. The journalist's camera captures our journey, documenting each step as we draw closer to the heart of the old graveyard. As we reach the outskirts, the air seems to change, charged with a malevolent energy. The historian's voice trembles as he recounts the stories of this place, the rituals, the whispers. The scientist adjusts his equipment, his skepticism warring with a growing sense of curiosity. We stop at the gnarled tree, its branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. This is where it began, where the darkness took root. The journalist's voice is steady as he gives the signal to move forward, to step into the heart of the graveyard. The tombstones loom like sentinels, marking the final resting place of those who came before. But there's a tension in the air, a feeling that we're not alone. The scientist's instruments flicker, capturing anomalies that defy explanation. We press on, our hearts pounding in rhythm with the forest's pulse. And then we see it. A flicker of movement, a glimpse of darkness shifting between the gravestones. The journalist's camera captures the moment, freezing it in time. The creature emerges, its eyes like pools of inky blackness, its form shifting and morphing like a nightmare given life. Fear clutches at my chest, threatening to overwhelm me, but I remember the journal's words, the ranger's account of facing this very horror. The creature thrives on fear, feeds on it. We can't let it consume us. We stand our ground, our resolve unwavering. The historian recites words of ancient power, his voice carrying through the air. The scientist's instruments flare to life, emitting a blinding light that cuts through the darkness. The journalist's camera flashes, capturing the creature's pained shriek as it recoils. It's a battle of wills, a clash of light and darkness, of fear and determination. We press forward, pushing the creature back toward the heart of the graveyard. The air crackles with energy, the very fabric of reality seeming to warp and twist. And then, with a final burst of light, the creature retreats, its form dissolving into the shadows. We're left standing in the aftermath, our breaths ragged, our hearts pounding. The historian's words echo in the silence. We've done it. We've faced the darkness and prevailed. As we catch our breath, a sense of accomplishment washes over us. We've confronted the nightmare that's haunted this town for generations, and we've emerged victorious. The journalist's camera captures our exhausted but triumphant faces, a testament to the power of unity and determination. The echoes of our victory still linger in the air as we catch our breath. The creature has been driven back, banished into the shadows, and the graveyard stands before us, a testament to the battle that's been waged here. But there's no time to rest. We know that the creature's retreat is only temporary. The journalist's camera captures the scene, the tombstones bathed in the soft light of dawn. We exchange glances, a mix of exhaustion and determination in our eyes. The historian's voice breaks the silence, urging us to stay vigilant, to remain focused on the task at hand. We regroup, our minds buzzing with the knowledge that the celestial event is still unfolding. The sky above us is a swirl of colors, a reminder of the forces beyond our understanding. The scientist's instruments still hum with energy, a sign that the barrier between worlds remains thin. We press on, deeper into the graveyard, our footsteps quiet against the dew-soaked grass. The air is thick with anticipation, each rustle of leaves sending a jolt of adrenaline through my veins. The tombstones seem to watch us, their cold gaze following our every move. And then we see it, the creature, emerging from the shadows with a guttural snarl. Its eyes burn like embers, its form shifting and contorting. We're ready this time, our resolve unshaken by the nightmare before us. The historian's incantations fill the air, his words carrying a weight of power. The scientist's instruments emit a brilliant light, illuminating the darkness and driving the creature back. The journalist's camera clicks and flashes, capturing the battle as it unfolds. I raise my flashlight, its beam steady as I face the creature head-on. It lunges, a blur of darkness and teeth, but I stand my ground. Fear tries to claw its way into my heart, but I remember the ranger's journal, the knowledge that this creature feeds on fear. I push it back, my voice joining the chorus of determination that fills the air. The battle is fierce, a dance of light and darkness, of wills clashing in a silent war. The creature's form wavers, its shrieks piercing the night, but we stand united, a force to be reckoned with. And then, with a final burst of light, the creature lets out a deafening howl and retreats, its form dissolving into the shadows once more. The graveyard falls silent, the air heavy with the residue of the battle that's been fought. We catch our breath, our bodies weary but our spirits unbroken. The historian's voice is steady as he speaks. We've proven that the darkness can be defeated, that even the most ancient of curses can be broken. As we stand amidst the tombstones, a sense of accomplishment washes over us. The journalist's camera captures the aftermath, the scene a stark contrast to the chaos that had unfolded just moments before. We've faced the creature, stared into the abyss, and emerged victorious. But as the first light of dawn touches the horizon, a new thought takes root. The cycle has been broken, the creature banished, but the forest's mysteries remain. The journey is far from over, and as we make our way back through the graveyard, I can't help but feel that the shadows still hold secrets waiting to be uncovered. The battle may be won, but the war against the unknown is far from finished. The graveyard stands before us, bathed in the soft light of dawn. The battle is won, the creature banished, and yet the air is heavy with a sense of both relief and uncertainty. Our victory has come at a price. Exhaustion etched into our faces, wounds and bruises serving as reminders of the struggle we've faced. The journalist's expose has been published, capturing the attention of the town and beyond. The truth about the graveyard's curse, the battles we've fought, it's all out in the open now. The journalist's words have reached the masses, and the town's legacy of fear and uncertainty is slowly beginning to shift. We gather around a table, maps and notes spread out before us once again. The scientist's instruments still hum with energy, a sign that the veil between worlds remains thin. The journalist's determination is unwavering as he speaks. Our battle against the creature may be won, but there's more to this forest than we've yet to discover. The shadows may have been banished, but they leave behind echoes of a past we're only beginning to understand. we agree to continue our research, to delve deeper into the forest's secrets. The historian shares more stories, tales of lost civilizations and forgotten rituals. The scientist's eyes light up with curiosity, his skepticism giving way to a hunger for knowledge. As we prepare to part ways, a sense of camaraderie lingers in the air. We've been through a lot, faced unimaginable horrors, confronted the unknown, and our bond is stronger for it. The journalist's camera captures our final moments together, freezing them in time as a testament to our shared journey. And so, as I watch my companions go their separate ways, a new chapter begins. The graveyard's curse may be broken, the creature banished, but the journey into the heart of the forest's mysteries is far from over. The shadows may have retreated, but they've left behind a legacy that we're determined to uncover, to understand, and to ultimately bring to light. As I stand amidst the tombstones, a sense of purpose courses through my veins. The journalist's expose has sparked a new beginning for the town, a chance to move beyond the fear that's held it captive for so long. And as I take a step forward, ready to face the mysteries that still await, I know that the journey ahead will be just as challenging, just as haunting, and just as rewarding as the battles we've already fought. The forest's embrace is both familiar and unsettling as I venture deeper, my flashlight cutting through the darkness. The journalist's expose has brought a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to uncover the forest's secrets that have been hidden for generations. I find myself back at the gnarled tree on the outskirts of the graveyard, its branches reaching out like twisted fingers. The past is still fresh in my mind, the battles we've fought, the victories we've achieved. But as I stand here, I can't help but feel that the forest's mysteries are far from unraveled. I've been poring over the historian's notes, the scientist's findings, and the journalist's photographs. The pieces of the puzzle are slowly coming together, revealing a history that's more intertwined with the forest than anyone could have imagined. Old legends speak of a time when the boundaries between worlds were thin, when the forest was a place of power and mystery. As I explore deeper, I stumble upon an ancient altar, its stones weathered by time and forgotten rituals. The air is charged with a palpable energy, a sense that the past is still alive, waiting to be uncovered. The journalist's words echo in my mind. We are the voice of those who have been silenced, the hope of those who've lost loved ones. I can't help but feel that there's more to this story, more layers to uncover. The forest's whispers seem to grow louder, carrying with them echoes of a past that refuses to remain hidden. I've faced the darkness, battled the creature, but now there's a new battle. A battle to understand, to piece together the fragments of a history that's been buried for far too long. I reach out and touch the ancient stones, a shiver running down my spine. It's as if the forest itself is guiding me, urging me to continue the journey, to unravel the mysteries that still linger in the shadows. The journalist's camera is absent this time, but his words remain. A reminder that our quest is not just about uncovering the past, but about bringing closure to those who've been affected by the forest's mysteries. As I make my way back through the forest, a sense of determination courses through me. The battle against the creature may be won, but the war against the unknown is far from over. The shadows may still hold secrets, but I'm ready to face them, to confront the ghosts of the past and bring their stories to light. The journey ahead is uncertain, the path shrouded in mystery. But I'm not alone. The historian's tales, the scientist's discoveries, the journalist's unwavering support, they're all a part of this journey. And as I step back into the ranger station, ready to continue the research, I know that the forest's secrets will be revealed, one piece at a time. The ranger station is quiet, the air heavy with anticipation as I sift through old maps and documents. The forest's mysteries have consumed my thoughts, and the past few weeks have been a whirlwind of research, discoveries, and a growing sense of purpose. The journalist's expose has sparked a new era for the town. People are talking, sharing their own stories of encounters with the unknown, their experiences that have long been shrouded in silence. It's a testament to the power of truth, the way it can break through barriers and bring a community together. I've gathered my allies once again, the historian, the scientist, and even the journalist, who's more than eager to continue documenting our journey. The forest's secrets are calling, and we're ready to answer. The historian shares more tales, each one adding a layer to the story of the forest's past. Ancient rituals, forgotten civilizations, a history that's been lost to time. The scientist's instruments still hum with energy, a reminder that the veil between worlds is thin, and the journalist's camera captures our shared determination. As we venture deeper into the forest, a sense of reverence washes over me. The ancient trees seem to whisper secrets, the leaves rustling with stories that have long been forgotten. We stumble upon ruins, remnants of a civilization that once thrived in the heart of the forest. The historian's voice is filled with awe as he traces his fingers over the worn stones. "This is a place of power," he murmurs, his words carrying a weight of understanding. The scientist's instruments react, their readings confirming what we've suspected. The forest is a nexus, a convergence of energies that transcend time and space. As we delve deeper, I find myself drawn to a hidden chamber, its entrance obscured by overgrown vines. Inside, we discover carvings, intricate depictions of creatures and landscapes, scenes that seem to tell a story of a world beyond our own. The journalist's camera clicks, freezing these ancient images in time. I'm struck by a realization. The forest's mysteries are not just about the creature we battled, but about a legacy that's been hidden for centuries. The journalist's expose was just the beginning. The town's history is woven with the forests, and together they tell a story of resilience, of a community that's faced unimaginable challenges and emerged stronger for it. As we make our way back to the ranger station, a sense of fulfillment washes over me. The journey into the forest's heart has brought us closer together, united by a shared purpose and a thirst for knowledge. The historian's tales, the scientist's discoveries, the journalist's documentation, they're all threads in a tapestry that's still being woven. The forest's secrets may never be fully unraveled, but that's not the point. Our journey has shown us that the past is worth uncovering, that the shadows hold stories waiting to be told. And as I stand amidst the relics of a forgotten civilization, I know that our quest is far from over. The forest's legacy is still being written, and we're determined to be a part of it, to bring its mysteries to light, and to ensure that its secrets are no longer shrouded in darkness.
And finally, as the most terrifying park ranger story of 1980, the blood pact of a park ranger.
It was the summer of '81, and I, Paxton, found myself stationed alone at Whispering Pines National Park. The dense trees and the echoing silence made the air heavy with an unsettling tension. My days consisted of routine patrols, monitoring trails, and checking in on the few campers who dared to venture this far off the beaten path. One evening, as the sun began its descent, I received a call about a missing camper. The usual knot of dread twisted in my stomach, but duty pushed me forward. Armed with a flashlight and my trusty radio, I set out to find them. I followed a trail into the heart of the forest, where the darkness seemed thicker and the shadows more sinister. Twigs snapped underfoot, and the rustling of leaves in the wind played tricks on my ears. Suddenly, a guttural hiss sliced through the air, and I froze. Before me stood a creature beyond comprehension. Its body, a twisted amalgamation of legs and eyes, seemed to writhe in the moonlight. My heart hammered as I met its gaze, and in an instant, the creature burst into a seething mass of small spiders. My mind couldn't process the horror before me as the spiders swarmed towards me. Panic surged through my veins, and I stumbled backward, frantically swatting at them. But my efforts were in vain. They were relentless, crawling up my legs, sinking their venomous fangs into my flesh. Each bite felt like fire, and I screamed, my voice swallowed by the night. Desperation fueled my actions. I drew my knife and slashed at the spiders, cutting through their eerie symphony of chittering. But the more I killed, the more they seemed to multiply, their numbers swelling until they covered the forest floor like a malevolent tide. With a final burst of energy, I managed to clear a path and stumbled away, leaving a trail of blood and destruction in my wake. The pain was excruciating, my vision blurred, and darkness closed in around the edges. I awoke to a surreal scene. The spiders were gone, and in their place stood a figure, cloaked in shadows. It spoke in a voice that echoed with an otherworldly resonance, promising salvation in exchange for a pact sealed in blood. Weak and desperate, I agreed, and in that moment, my wounds began to heal. But the cost became clear as my body underwent a transformation, my very being merging with the sinister creature. I could feel the power coursing through me, but at the same time, a gnawing emptiness. As the days passed, My humanity slipped further away, replaced by a hunger that could never be satisfied. The forest became my domain, and I reveled in the terror I spread, luring unsuspecting victims into my web of death. But even as I embraced the darkness, a glimmer of my former self remained. In my moments of clarity, I fought against the insidious force that held me captive, desperate to break free from the creature's malevolent grasp. And so I, Paxton, the park ranger turned monstrous predator, continue to haunt these woods, a twisted embodiment of horror and despair. A constant battle rages within me, torn between the insatiable hunger and the fading ember of my humanity. The moon hung low in the night sky, casting an eerie silver glow over the dense forest of whispering pines. My senses were on high alert as I prowled through the underbrush, my every step deliberate and silent. The scent of damp earth mingled with the distant rustling of leaves, creating an atmosphere thick with anticipation. My heart raced as I picked up on the faint sound of footsteps, a rhythmic crunching of leaves that grew steadily closer. I crouched behind a gnarled tree trunk, my eyes narrowing as I spotted a figure approaching through the darkness. My grip tightened on the hilt of my knife, prepared for whatever danger might emerge. As the figure drew near, my breath caught in my throat. It was a woman, her camera slung over her shoulder, her eyes wide with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Her hair cascaded in dark waves down her back, and the moonlight illuminated her features, revealing a determination that intrigued me. "Stay calm," I muttered to myself, my voice a mere whisper on the wind. But even as I spoke, I could feel the restless hunger stirring within me, the instinctive urge to strike and satisfy the insatiable craving. Lily, that was the name that surfaced in my mind, seemed to sense something amiss. Her steps faltered, and she scanned the shadows, her gaze flickering over the trees as if searching for something, or someone. "Is someone there?" she called out, her voice quivering but determined. "I know you're watching. Show yourself." Caught off guard by her boldness, I hesitated, my fingers loosening their grip on the knife. For a moment, the silence stretched between us, a tense standoff as our eyes met across the distance. I stepped forward, my movements deliberate as I emerged from the shadows. "Easy now," I said, my voice rough but tinged with an attempt at reassurance. "I'm a park ranger, name's Paxton." Lily's gaze narrowed, her camera lowering slightly. "A park ranger? Out here in the middle of the night?" I nodded, stepping closer. "There have been reports of a missing camper. I was patrolling the area. What are you doing out here?" Her suspicion didn't waver, but a hint of curiosity danced in her eyes. "I'm a photographer," she explained. "I heard about this place and thought it might hold some interesting shots. Clearly, I stumbled into more than I bargained for." I couldn't help but study her, my hunger momentarily forgotten as I took in the lines of her face, the fire in her eyes. "You're brave," I admitted, my voice softening. Lily scoffed, a nervous laugh escaping her lips. Brave or foolish, I can't quite decide. Despite myself, a small smile tugged at the corners of my mouth. A little of both, perhaps. We stood there in the moonlit clearing, two souls suspended in an uncertain moment. The tension that had gripped me since encountering the creature seemed to dissipate in Lily's presence, replaced by a different kind of intensity. "Well, Paxton, park ranger," Lily said, a smirk playing on her lips. "Mind if I tag along with you? Two heads are better than one, especially in a place like this." I hesitated, my instincts warred with the burgeoning connection I felt. "It's dangerous out here." Lily's gaze held mine, unflinching. "I can handle myself. Besides, I have a feeling you could use an extra set of eyes." It was a risk, trusting a stranger in these woods, but as I looked at Lily, I sensed a shared understanding, a mutual recognition of the darkness that lingered just beyond our vision. "All right," I conceded, my voice a low rumble. "But stay close, and do as I say." Lily nodded, her camera bag slung over her shoulder as she fell into step beside me. "Lead the way, Ranger." And with that, we ventured deeper into the forest, two unlikely companions bound by circumstance and a growing sense of camaraderie. As we walked, I couldn't help but steal glances at Lily, her presence a balm to the shadows that had haunted me for so long. Little did I know that this encounter would set into motion a chain of events that would forever alter the course of our lives. As Lily and I continued our journey through the heart of Whispering Pines, the forest seemed to come alive around us. The moonlight filtered through the dense canopy, casting intricate patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. The air was thick with tension, but with Lily by my side, the weight that had been bearing down on me seemed to ease ever so slightly. We walked in companionable silence for a while, each lost in our thoughts. I couldn't help but steal glances at Lily as she navigated the uneven terrain with a quiet determination. Her presence was a comfort, a reminder that I wasn't alone in this darkness. Eventually, as we made our way deeper into the forest, I felt compelled to share my truth with her. The truth about the creature, the blood pact, and the insatiable hunger that had driven me to this point. "Lily," I began, my voice tinged with hesitation, "there's something you need to know." She looked at me, her expression attentive. "What is it, Paxton?" I took a deep breath, my gaze fixed on the ground as I struggled to find the right words. "The creature I encountered, the one that turned me into this." I gestured to my changed form. "It's not just a random monster. It's my master, bound to me by a blood pact. It's the reason for my transformation, the reason for my hunger." Lily's eyes widened, her gaze fixed on me with a mixture of surprise and understanding. "A blood pact? You mean it controls you?" I nodded, my throat tightening with the weight of my confession. "Yes, it's as if I'm tethered to it, compelled to do its bidding. I've tried to fight it, but the pull is relentless." Lily's hand found mine, her touch warm and reassuring. "Paxton, I'm so sorry, that sounds unimaginable." A bitter chuckle escaped me. Unimaginable is an understatement. It's a nightmare I can't wake up from. She squeezed my hand gently, her gaze unwavering. "But we're not powerless, Paxton. Together, we can find a way to break that bond. I've been researching ancient rituals, and I think I might have found something that could help." My heart leapt at her words, a flicker of hope igniting within me. "You really believe we can do it?" Lily nodded, her eyes fierce with determination. "I do. We can plan, strategize, and use the knowledge we have to our advantage. We can set you free, Paxton." The weight that had been crushing me suddenly felt a little lighter. Here was Lily, a beacon of hope in the darkness, offering a glimmer of salvation. Her unwavering belief in me and her willingness to stand by my side gave me a renewed sense of purpose. "Thank you, Lily," I said, my voice filled with gratitude. I never thought I'd find someone who could understand, let alone be willing to help. She smiled, her expression gentle. "We're in this together, Paxton. No matter what happens, we'll face it together." As we walked on, hand in hand, the future felt uncertain but not insurmountable. With Lily by my side, the shadows that had plagued me seemed a little less daunting, and the possibility of breaking free from the creature's influence felt more within reach than ever before. Together, we would face the horrors that awaited us, armed with determination, a bond forged in the midst of darkness, and a shared purpose to bring an end to the nightmare that had consumed us both. The night was thick with tension as Lily and I finalized our plan to confront the monstrous creature that had held me captive for so long. The moon hung high in the sky, casting an ethereal glow over the clearing where we had set up our makeshift battleground. The air crackled with energy as we steeled ourselves for the impending showdown. Lily had meticulously prepared the tools we would need: a circle of salt, ancient symbols drawn in the earth, and a vial of a potent concoction she had crafted. As we stood at the edge of the clearing, our hands clasped tightly, I could feel the weight of her determination, her unwavering belief in our ability to triumph. "The time has come, Paxton," Lily whispered, her voice a steady anchor amidst the storm of emotions swirling within me. "Remember, we're stronger together." I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest as we stepped forward into the circle. The earth seemed to thrum beneath my feet, the energy of the forest pulsating around us. The creature appeared, its form shifting and contorting as it emerged from the shadows, its eyes gleaming with a malevolent hunger. "Look at what we have here," the creature hissed, its voice a chilling echo in the night. "The ranger and his brave accomplice, do you truly believe you can challenge me?" "We believe in breaking the bond you have over Paxton," Lily retorted, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. "We're here to set him free." The creature's laughter was a cacophony of chilling echoes. "Free? He belongs to me, body and soul." Not wasting another moment, Lily began to chant the incantation we had painstakingly prepared. The ancient symbols flared to life, glowing with an otherworldly light as the energy swirled around us. I could feel the creature's grip on me weakening, its influence waning as the power of the ritual took hold. Seizing the opportunity, I lunged at the creature, my movements fueled by a mixture of desperation and newfound strength. The battle was fierce, the creature's limbs lashing out, but I fought back with a determination I hadn't known I possessed. Lily's voice joined the fray, her chants weaving a protective barrier around us as we pushed the creature back. With a final surge of energy, we managed to subdue the creature, its form writhing in the dirt. As it lay vulnerable before us, Lily handed me the vial of her concoction. Without hesitation, I uncorked it and poured the liquid onto the creature's writhing form. A scream tore through the night as the concoction ignited in a brilliant burst of flames. The creature thrashed and contorted, its agonized cries filling the air. Lily's voice rose above the chaos, her incantation weaving with mine, a symphony of power and purpose. The flames grew hotter, consuming the creature until all that remained was a pile of smoldering ash. The forest fell silent, the crackling of the fire the only sound that remained. We stood there, breathless and victorious, the weight of the battle settling over us. "It's over," Lily whispered, her voice a mixture of relief and awe. I nodded, my heart racing as I took in the scene before us. The creature that had held me captive, the source of my torment, was gone, reduced to nothing more than embers and smoke. Lily's eyes met mine, a triumphant smile tugging at the corners of her lips. "We did it, Paxton. You're free." Tears welled up in my eyes as I looked at her, the enormity of what we had accomplished sinking in. "I couldn't have done it without you, Lily." She stepped closer, her hand finding mine once more. "We faced our demons together, Paxton, and we emerged stronger because of it." My heart pounded as the first rays of dawn bathed the clearing in a soft golden light. Lily and I stood amidst the remnants of the vanquished creature, a sense of triumph and relief washing over us. But as I looked into Lily's eyes, a seed of unease began to take root. "Lily," I said cautiously, my voice tinged with a mixture of curiosity and concern, "how did you know about that ritual, about the blood pact?" She turned to me, her gaze steady but unreadable. "I did my research, Paxton. I wanted to help you." I nodded, wanting to believe her words, but the unease persisted. "But how did you know about the pact? How did you know it could be broken?" Lily's lips curled into a slow, sinister smile. "Oh, Paxton, you underestimate me. You see, I didn't just stumble upon that knowledge, I orchestrated it." My heart lurched as her words sank in, a cold realization settling over me. "What do you mean?" Lily's smile widened, a glint of malevolence in her eyes. "I am the one who bound you to that creature, Paxton. I am the mastermind behind it all." Shock coursed through me, my mind struggling to process her revelation. "But why? Why would you do something like that?" She chuckled, her laughter echoing in the clearing. "Oh, Paxton, it was all just a game, a twisted experiment to see how far I could push the boundaries of reality. You were my pawn, and that creature was my creation." Anger and betrayal surged within me, a storm of emotions that threatened to overwhelm my senses. "You played with my life. You manipulated me." Lily's expression remained unflinching, her voice dripping with a sick sort of satisfaction. "And now, Paxton, you're bound to me forever. The blood pact is unbreakable, and you are at my mercy." I stumbled back, my mind racing as the weight of her words settled over me. The sense of freedom I had felt, the hope that had burned so brightly, was extinguished in an instant. I had been a puppet in her twisted game, a mere pawn in her quest for power and control. "No," I muttered, my voice tinged with defiance. "I won't let you control me." Lily's laughter rang out, a chilling melody that sent shivers down my spine. "Oh, Paxton, you have no choice. The pact is sealed, and you are mine." Desperation surged through me, a primal instinct to fight against the chains that bound me. But as I tried to summon my newfound strength, I felt a surge of pain radiate through my body, a reminder of the unbreakable hold she had over me. Lily approached, her eyes locking onto mine with a predatory intensity. "Don't fight it, Paxton. Embrace your new reality. You are mine now, body and soul." As the realization of my fate settled over me, a sense of resignation washed over my senses. I was trapped, ensnared in a web of deception and manipulation that Lily had skillfully woven. The forest seemed to close in around us, the world narrowing to the two of us standing amidst the aftermath of our battle. Lily's smile never wavered, her triumph evident in every line of her face. And as I stood there, bound by the blood pact and forever under her control, the nightmare that had haunted me took on a new, sinister dimension.
That's all for today, but don't forget to subscribe. The top 5 most terrifying park ranger encounters from 1982 will be out soon. Thanks for watching Eerie Escapes.